up as a kid, yeah. All a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe, are going to win the NFC South. And for some reason, people keep saying that the Buccaneers are overrated. And it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. People keep saying that Tom Brady isn't enough to get the Buccaneers to the playoffs. And they won't even come close to winning the NFC South over the Saints. And that logic just really confuses me. Because here's why. You have a quarterback in Jameis Winston. And I love Jameis Winston. If you are a subscriber to the channel and have been listening to me for over the last 2 years, you would know that Jameis Winston not only is my favorite NFL player, but he is my favorite NFL player of all time. I have 2 Jameis Winston jerseys in my closet. But he turned the ball over at Levante Dave. He had over 30 total turnovers last season. And if you mean to tell me that Tom Brady isn't going to be an upgrade over a guy who turned the ball over 30 times in one season, then I don't really know what to tell you, because here's why. Tom Brady at the helm at quarterback not only just improves the offense, but he improves the defense. You want to know why? Because how many times did we see Tampa Bay's defense get a big stop, and then 20 seconds later they were back on the field because Jameis Winston turned the ball over, threw an interception? So if you mean to tell me that Tom Brady isn't an upgrade over Jameis Winston, then I just don't really know what to tell you. I can't really argue with that kind of thinking, because like Tom Brady, not only is he one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but he's one of the smartest quarterbacks of all time. And a big reason why Tampa Bay didn't make it to the playoffs last year was because Jameis Winston turned the football over. Now, I know a lot of people are going to make the argument and say that Jameis Winston didn't have a running game, he didn't have a good offensive line, and those arguments, I believe, are true. But at the end of the day, there is no excuse for throwing 30 interceptions in one season and turning the football over the way Jameis Winston turned the football over. I don't care if you have a bad offensive line and no run game. That is inexcusable. Inexcusable. It's no reason, no logic to clean up those 30 interceptions. Now, I know that his wide receivers had a couple of tip passes that got picked off and things like that, but still, Jameis Winston still was turning the football over at an alarming rate. So now you bring in a quarterback like a Tom Brady, who you don't have to worry about all those turnovers. You got a quarterback who's smart with the football. He's going to improve the offense. And he's also going to help out the defense, because now the defense doesn't have to, worry about getting a stop and then immediately coming back on the field 2 plays later because of a turnover on offense. Then you got to look at this defense. I believe that the Buccaneers are going to have a top 10 defense. You got 2 talented corners and Carlton Davis and Jamal Dean, who both of these guys are going to have breakout seasons. Both of those guys really could have been Pro Bowlers last year, but the reason why they didn't make the Pro Bowl was because they weren't able to get their hands on a lot of tip passes. Like, they were knocking the ball down and things like that, but they weren't coming down with those interceptions. Well, this season, I think Jamal Dean and Carlton Davis are going to be one of the best cornerback duos by the end of this 2020 NFL season. Then you have Shaq Barrett, and you also have JPP, who JPP is a guy who a lot of people are really sleeping on. Although he's getting a little bit up there in age, he's still a guy who can produce and give you like a 9 or 10 sack season. Then you got Vita Vea. So, you got a lot of talent on that defensive line. That defensive line is really good against the run. And you also got 2 very good pass rushers coming off the edge. Then you got Devon White, who was one of the best rookie linebackers last season. For some reason, some people will say that Devon White sucks because he had a low Pro Football Focus grade. And that really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. That's why you really can't go off Pro Football Focus, because their grading system is really weird to me. Because when I saw Devon White, I saw a guy who was way better than that 50 whatever grade he got by Pro Football Focus. I saw a guy that was constantly making plays, not only in stopping the run, but also making plays in the passing game. So it really does, the fact that he was graded so low by Pro Football Focus, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Then you got Levante Dave. Levante David really emerged as one of the 5 best linebackers in the NFL last season. I'm not finna debate anybody about that. That's my opinion, and I'm staying strong with that opinion. Levante David's a top 5 linebacker in the NFL. NFL, and I'm not debating anybody about that. Then you improve the safety position. You bring in Antoine Winfield, who I believe was the best safety coming out of the 2020 draft class. He should have went in the first round, but the reason why he did not go in the first round was because he was undersized. But his father, Antoine Winfield, played for the Minnesota Vikings a decade ago. He was a former Pro Bowler during his time with the Minnesota Vikings. So, I mean, this is a guy, Antoine Winfield, who I think is going to end up being a finalist for a Defensive Rookie of the Year. He has good instincts. He's a solid tackler, and this guy's an absolute ball hog. I believe that when it's all said and done, he's going to be one of the best players from this 2020 NFL draft class. Then you got to look at the offense. So you improve the offensive line. You bring in Tristan Wirfs. That is going to be a drastic upgrade because Tampa Bay, not only did you have to deal with Jameis Winston turning the football over, but the offensive line didn't do him no favors because he didn't have all that much time to throw. Like, I think he had one of the lowest drop back time to pass ratios in the NFL, something like that. Like, he didn't really have a lot of time to sit back there and survey the field. So you improve the offensive line, you bring in Tristan Wirfs. Now, we already know about how good this wide receiver position is. You got Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. That is debatably the best 1-2 punch at the wide receiver position. Now, a lot of people can make the argument and say that Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, but I mean, look, you can make the debate and say that Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham are the best wide receiver duo in the NFL, but you can also make the argument and say that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. And also a wide receiver that a lot of people aren't talking about with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is rookie Tyler Johnson out of Minnesota. I think Tyler Johnson could be another good third option in his passing game if the Buccaneers do choose to run some 3 wide receiver sets and put Tyler Johnson in the slot. I think he could be a really good target as well. Don't sleep on Tyler Johnson. Then you also got the best tight end position in all of the NFL. You got Cameron Brate, you got O.J. Howard, and you got Rock Gronkowski. Now, one thing that I want to see out of this Buccaneers offense, I want to see them line out O.J. Howard a lot more because, like, O.J. Howard is like he has potential to be really good. Like, he had like a Pro Bowl caliber season a few years back, but he got derailed due to an injury. But O.J. Howard, I feel like Tampa Bay should line him out wide a little bit more than what they did last season. Like, he is a matchup nightmare. Like, he's too big for safeties to cover, and he's too fast for a linebacker to cover. So line this man out more out wide. But when you look at the NFC South in general, like, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just the better team all around. Like, no team in this division has the talent that Tampa Bay has. Now, give it, New Orleans is really talented, and the Atlanta Falcons are also really talented, but we don't know about the Atlanta Falcons defense, and we don't really know about their coaching staff. Like, their coaching situation is a little bit shaky. Then the offensive line was a little bit rough last year as well. Then you got to talk about the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, like, they're still going to be good, but at the end of the day, this is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that is far superior than every team in this division besides the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints are pretty up there, but the Atlanta Falcons, and don't really know. So, I mean, for the fact that people think that Tampa Bay is not going to win the division is really weird to me. Like, I don't know if people are Tom Brady haters or people just haven't been watching football for the last couple of seasons or watching Tampa Bay play. I don't know if a lot of you guys watched what Tampa Bay did last season because, look, Jameis Winston really costed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple of games, and this is coming from a Jameis Winston fan. I am a diehard Jameis Winston fan. I just said earlier that I have 2 Jameis Winston jerseys in my closet. But that doesn't excuse the fact that he was a pretty big reason why the Buccaneers didn't make it to the playoffs last year. Now, given the offensive line wasn't all that great and the run game wasn't all that great, and that leads to my next one. I think Tampa Bay is going to be a lot better running the football this season than what they have been in the past. Now, they're still high on Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones has just been announced RB1 by Bruce Arians, so I'm really interested to see how they get Ronald Jones involved. And I mean, like, I think Ronald Jones needs a little bit more touches than what he got last season. Like, I think they need to make him the focal point of the offense. You also bring in LaShawn McCoy as well. Then you also got Keyshawn Vaughn. So, I mean, this is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that is the most talented team in this division. They have a good coaching staff. I like their defensive coordinator. I really like offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich. I'm really interested to see what him and Tom Brady are going to do this season, what they're going to cook up. So, I mean, I'm going with Tampa Bay to win the division. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to say the Saints, JT, the Saints. But, I mean, it's weird. Like, a lot of people keep saying the Buccaneers are unproven. How the hell are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers unproven? Tom Brady is a 6-time Super Bowl freaking champion. Like, how are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers unfreaking proven? Like, Bruce Arians is the quarterback whisperer for crying out loud. He's where Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Ben Roethlisberger. So, like, how the hell are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers unproven? Like, why do people say that? Like, they're unproven. They haven't proven anything, JT. What? Tom Brady is a 6-time Super Bowl champion. What do you mean he's unproven? He's won the Super Bowl 6 freaking times. More than any quarterback in NFL history. How is he unproven? I don't really know what people are talking about this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, man. Like, it seems like people are just trying to hate on Tampa Bay just because they just don't want Tampa Bay to win the division. Like, people have a hard time accepting the fact that not every bad team is going to be bad for the rest of NFL existence. Like, bad teams can improve too and become good teams. Average teams can become great teams. So, I mean, not every team is going to be the same. A team that might have been great last season may be bad this season. The NFL is constantly changing. We got to get out of this mindset that bad teams are going to forever be bad teams and good teams are going to forever be good teams. Every team can have, a different season. Every NFL season is different. So let's get out of this narrative that Tampa Bay is going to suck this season and that they're overrated just because they've been bad for like the past decade or so. It's a new season. This is a really good team. A lot of people keep overthinking this Tom Brady thing, man. Like, it's not that hard. Even if he does decline, he's not going to decline to the fact that he's, you just can't start him. He's still going to be serviceable. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm taking Tampa Bay to win the NFC South. I'm not really going to debate anybody in the comment section there. Like, I'm taking Tampa Bay to win the NFC South. NFC South, excuse me. I don't know how they're unproven. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.